Grace and peace to you. This is yours truly, Bishop Bowser, coming at you once again. Today, I want to talk to you about a serious issue affecting our community. Why are so many black men running from Yahweh? The data is clear. There are more black women in church than black men. Why is that? I want to give you 3 powerful reasons why black men are running from the Lord. Point number 1, cultural and societal pressures. That's why. We have to understand the environment that many of these young black men are growing up in. Society often teaches us that vulnerability is a weakness. And you know, growing up, what they used to say to us in the streets, right? You scared, go to church, right? So they see going to church as something weak. They see going to church as something that lames and sissies and weak people do. Go to church. You know, I'm strong, I'm tough, you know, and I gotta survive. You know, I can't go up there and go into church and listen to a preacher, right? And they grown up in this society and in our culture, right? Seeing their moms, their grandmothers, their aunts, their sisters, and the woman across the street, all them going to church while the men staying home gambling, drinking, watching football games, going to the park barbecuing and all those fishing and all those type of things while the women were going to church. And so that's a part of our culture, right? And then plus when you look at the institutional struggles, right? Like poverty and incarceration and violence and those things, it becomes very difficult for a young black man to trust institutions, including the church, right? And so they choose to say, if I'm going to make it and if I'm going to survive, right? I can't be going and turn into some God. I gotta rely on my own self and my own strength to do this, right? So a lot of young black men just don't believe in God. And this is where our culture and our society, especially for black men, our sisters, they truly do, and they preach it and teach it to their sons and nephews and uncles and brothers and fathers and all that, but they just don't listen because of the culture for black men. The point number 2 is temptation and worldly pursuits, right? There is a worldly, or let me put it this way, there's a pool of worldly pleasures, right? Things that our young black men are chasing after today. They're chasing after women, right? For marriage outside, or I should say sex outside of marriage. And a lot of times we talk to them, you're going to get married? No, I'm not going to get married. Why should they get married when they're getting the benefit of marriage, right? If every sister close their legs and all these women stop having sex and say we ain't having sex till we get married, I guarantee you some of them will start getting married, right? But we have that, we have fame, we have the instant gratification, material success. These temptations promise quick gratification and happiness, right? But it leads to emptiness, and that's part of the problem. Too many black men get caught up in this cycle, right? Chasing temporary pleasures instead of lasting fulfillment through God. Peer pressure and cultural norms can make it harder to stay committed to faith as they focus, or as they live for the moment, I should say. Their focus is on right now. Point number 3, a lack of strong spiritual mentorship, because one generation after the next, because of our societal and cultural pressures, because of the temptation, worldly pursuits that black men are going after, we don't find any strong spiritual mentorship. So there's a shortage of strong, positive male spiritual role models, right? When black men don't see men leading by faith, right? Being an example by living out their faith in integrity, then they feel disconnected from the church and spiritually, right? Or spirituality. So without guidance and mentorship, it's easy to drift away, especially when society often offers many distractions and false promises. So understanding these reasons is the first step toward change, my brothers and sisters. We need to encourage men to embrace faith, seek true strength in God, and become role models our community need, because when black men turn back to God, everything changes. Families, communities, and the future. Those are my reasons why I believe black men are running from God. God bless you.